Hey YouTube, Simon here once again for the amazing fundamental changes. Today we are off to the finger gym to improve your coordination and dexterity. Let's go and have a look at a few examples just after this. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit today about a technique that we all neglect, and that's going to the finger gym, working on coordination and dexterity and being able to make sure that your plectrum hand or your picking hand and your fingers are bang, sync in tight and tidy and moving through some fairly uncomfortable shapes. So what I've put together is creating a perfect practice regime, a warm-up regime. That's going to be this part one and two other parts. And today's is really about building classic dexterity exercises. So let's go and have a look at example one and then I'll explain it. Alright, example one here is a very, very common guitar exercise and one of the best. If you only start with this one, it'll be well worth it. So we're basically taking frets 1, 2, 3 and 4 and we're going all the way through the strings and we're using alternate picking and we've got a finger per fret, which simply means you can't use one finger to play all of these. You have to do index or first, second, third, fourth finger, all going through the strings. And what you want to try and do is make sure your hand's not coming off and on the guitar like this. You want to keep them fairly close and ready. Arched round so you can tap the knuckles on the top of the guitar there as well. And as I mentioned, alternate pick. Down, up, 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 down, up. My metronome was set at 80 beats per minute for this. I recommend starting off even slower because this is written as 16th notes or 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So you might want to start off say 50, 60 BPM or just go as slow as you like. Just try and keep it in time. So it's a fantastic exercise. After you've gone all the way through 1 to 4, you can go 2 to 5, 3 to 6 and move this and make this a longer an example. But it is an absolute classic one and it's finger gym fundamentals. So let's move on to example 2. So like with any gym work really, the more you do of these, the better and the easier it will become, and that will hugely affect how you approach licks, lines, riffs, in whatever genre of playing you are. It might be rock, blues, funk, jazz, pop, whatever. If you work on the core fundamentals of making sure your fingers can play any way they like, it'll make a huge difference. Example 2 is a hammer-on example where you're hammering on 1 to 2, all the way through the strings from 6 to 1, and then you're coming back 2 to 3, and once again, like in example 1, you want to keep your fingers designated in their frets. So you don't want to just move your index and your middle fingers to do all of these. You want to go up 1 and 2, or index and middle, come back 2 and 3, go up 3 and 4, and then come back 2 and 3, and that loops the exercise. And you're going to pick, you can pick all with down strokes, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, etc. like that. Coming back the same, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer. Now, for some of you, you might find the third to fourth hammer on really difficult. Don't worry, that is normal. Okay, these are trying to push you to make sure all your core techniques and dexterity exercises are working well. So if that one's really difficult for you, just slow it down and get used to moving between these fingers, because they are sort of the D students of the class. These two, the first and second, are usually sort of A and B students most of the time. These guys struggle a bit more, so they require a bit more work. The ultimate goal, of course, is to be able to play evenly across all your fingers. Let's go and have a look at example 3. Example 3 then is the exact reverse of example 2. Everything you're going to do, you're going to pull off a note. So instead of hammering on all the way, you're going to pick a note with a downstroke, pull off, pick, pull off. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way through. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4, 3, really tough. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, and then back 3, 2 all the way through. Make sure you refer to the article and the tab when it comes online, when Joseph sends out the email. So that's example 3. Again, you're building these up slowly with a metronome. Let's have a look at example 4. I first got into these warm-ups when I used to watch Satriani warming up in old videos, and he'd use combinations of these, and this is one of his favourites. So if you want to call this the Satriani warm-up, then cool. And if it's good enough for Satriani, it's good enough for me. So let's have a look at this one here. This time you're going to go 1st fret of the 6th, 2nd fret of the 5th, 3rd fret of the 4th, and 4th fret of the 3rd. So it makes this weird shape going across the strings. Instead of having them all in a line like example 1, you've now got the same kind of spacing but all on different strings. And once again you're going to alternate pick, and then you're going to move that little sort of spidery shape through the strings there. And then you go through 1 to 4 all the way, then you come back 5 to 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, up 3 to 6, and back 7 to 4. Very classic Sat style warm-up, getting your fingers warm quickly, so every day you can play at your highest level as quickly as possible. Let's have a look at Sat part 2 in the next example. To round up our finger gym today, we're going to do the opposite of what you've just done in example 1. So this time you're going to come 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, finger per fret, don't let it slide. So first finger will always be in the 1st fret to start off, second in the 2nd, 3rd in the 3rd, 4th in the 4th. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, then you can move them all down a string, and then 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to come back 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alternate picking as you do this. Some of you might find that difficult, but that's what gives you the momentum and the practice regime with that as well. So today I really want you to concentrate on building core dexterity exercises. These are not the most fun thing in the world to practice, but they do set you up for all your other licks. You'll notice that your fingers are playing really sort of feeling great after you've warmed up well. And you might find that sometimes if you're struggling to get up to your highest level, if you apply these warm-up exercises first, you will get there more speedily. I should also just notice, look, I mentioned earlier on that you should have your knuckles out on your fingers there. On these type of exercises, you want to try and have some oxygen between your fingers. Something I come across a lot when I'm teaching is, look, especially these two, the third and the fourth fingers, often bunch up and they sort of love each other. Try and get it so they are not together. You want to have space between them, those fingers, so they're all working independently, and you can build up the strength and the dexterity in the tendons and the back of the hands, because each finger works individually. So take care. I'll see you next time for way more free videos. Work on your dexterity. Any questions, comments below. Subscribe now.